Hi, I'm Jane from Poppy Patchwork, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a block called Goose Tracks. So for this block we're going to start by making the half square triangles, and for this we're going to use fabrics B and C, and we're going to use the smaller squares in those. So I'm going to draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of one of these fabrics. I'm going to pin it right sides together with the other fabric. And then at the sewing machine I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch away from the line on both sides of the drawn line. So I'm going to remove the pins and then cut along the drawn line. So you need to trim these half square triangles using your preferred method. I like to use the Quilt in a Day 6.5 inch triangle square up ruler. If you want to right mouse click on the link above, it will take you to my video on how to trim half square triangles with a standard ruler. I'm now going to set the seams and press towards the darker fabric. I'm now going to trim the dog ears and set these to one side. I've drawn the block out in my quilt block notebook, and I've written out all the measurements. In this book you will get lots of blank pages, and I find it really useful for calculating the size of my pieces for the block. The odd and even quilt block notebooks are available to buy from Amazon. Scan the QR code to visit Amazon. You can also join my subscription service to get the block PDF with the measurements, method and trimming instructions. Also get access to the block PDF library for all previous blocks, plus many more benefits, such as this free baby quilt pattern. Sign up today by scanning this QR code or visit my website poppypatchwork.com. Now let's get quilting. Now I'm going to make the 1/4 square triangles using 3 fabrics, sometimes known as a split square unit. And for this we're going to need fabrics A, B and C, and the larger squares in these. And we're just going to start by using fabrics A and C. So on the wrong side of the lighter fabric I'm going to draw a diagonal line from corner to corner, just like we did when we made the half square triangles. Now I'm going to pin that right sides together with the other fabric. And when I go to the sewing machine, I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam on both sides of the drawn line. I'm going to remove the pins and then cut through the drawn line. And now we're going to set the seams and press them open. So I'm going to set the seam and press towards the darker fabric. And now we're going to cut this piece in half across the diagonal. So cutting across the stitched line. We'll do that for all of them. And then we're going to get fabric B, and we're going to cut these in half across the diagonal. And then we're going to join each of these together. I'm just going to finger press the halfway point on the larger triangle and then join these right sides together. So I'm going to do this for all the pieces. So I'm going to take these over to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. I'm now going to trim these using my preferred method, which is using this Quilt in a Day 6.5 inch triangle square up ruler. If you don't have one of these, if you right mouse click on the link above, it will take you to my video on how to trim 1/4 square triangles with a standard ruler. I'm now going to set the seams and press towards the larger triangle. So I've laid all the pieces out in the block layout, and now I'm going to create these 4 patches. So I'm going to start by joining them up in pairs first. going to take these to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. So I've laid these back out in their 4 patches, and a useful way to know if you've got them correct is that the background fabric kind of forms the outer edge of each of these 4 patches, and I've also placed them in block layout, just don't have the cross in the middle. So now I'm going to press these seams, and I'm going to press them towards the squares here and towards the half square triangles here, and that way that the seams should nest. I'm going to lay these back out in block order again. And now I'm going to pin the pairs together, and you can see here that we've got points to match. Now I've pressed the seams in opposite directions, so when I'm matching the points, I look from this angle so I can see where that point is here, push the pin through and check that it's come through on the point, and then push it through the point on the other piece. You can also right mouse click on the link above, and it will take you to my video on how to get perfect points in your blocks. So I'm going to take those over to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to set and press these seams. And I'm going to press the seams towards the square patch. And now we're ready for block layout. So I've laid these out in block layout, and now I'm going to sew them together in a 9 patch. So I'm going to sew these together, and then I'll sew the bottoms onto the columns. So I'm going to take those over to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. I'm now going to press the seams, and I'm going to press the seams towards the background fabric. And then we're going to go back into block layout. And now I'm going to pin these bottom pieces onto the columns. I'm going to return to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. And again I'm going to set the seams and press towards the background fabric. Now we're going to put them back into block layout. So now I'm going to pin this column to the centre column, and then I'll pin this column to this column. Because we have pressed the seams in opposite directions, they should match now. I'm going to take that back over to the sewing machine and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. Before I pin the last column in place, I'm just going to give this small centre strip a press. So I'm going to set the seam and press towards that centre strip. I'll do this because it's just easier to pin that final column into place with this strip being fairly narrow. It's really important to get this the right way around as you finish the block. And I'm now going to sew that last seam. So I've sewn all those seams together. I've given the block a good press. So congratulations, you have made the Goose Tracks block. I hope you've enjoyed these videos, and thank you very much for all your support by downloading my patterns and buying my books. Bye for now, and happy quilting!